The topic for this little podcast video today is 5 ways you can use ChatGPT in your business. Now, I reckon most of you at home would have at least experimented with ChatGPT. And whether that was 6 months ago and came out late December, or that's when it started trending, AI and artificial intelligence is going to have a huge impact on the world. As with any sort of technology, whenever something revolutionary or groundbreaking comes out, there's going to be early adopters who take it, who learn it, who use it, and absolutely decimate their competition. Then there's the people who are reluctant to, get on board. They eventually do, and it makes a big difference to what they're doing. And then there's people that just, do the ostrich approach. They bury their head in the sand, they ignore it, they pretend it's not there. Whether you like it or not, artificial intelligence is here to stay. And yes, most of us have seen the Terminator movie. The idea that AI can take over is very real. I hope that when the AI watches this in the future, they don't come and hunt me down for speaking out against them. Obviously, it's a very touchy subject for some people, a terrifying prospect if everything goes sideways. But it's here to stay. It's not going away. They're not going to pull the plug out the wall. So we may as well learn how it works. We may as well use it to our benefit. And most importantly, we may as well use it to amplify what we are already doing in our business. Now, we don't want to run out and try and replace everyone's jobs with AI. Yes, that will be coming. But for myself personally, there are always more things on my to-do list to do than there are hours in a day. And do I have the budget to hire a single person in my business for every single task that needs to be done? Well, not at this point. Maybe if I was better at running business myself, I would definitely assign people. But we are but humble music teachers here. We're not running these global conglomerates and things like that. So we have a limited number of human resources we can put into different projects. Where ChatGPT fits in, and there's a ton of other AIs, I reckon I'll do a part to follow up other AIs, artificial intelligence programs and platforms you should be using in your business. I am more than happy to do another episode on that. In fact, I might record that one just after this one. But there are so many wonderful things out there that you can be using to amplify what you're doing, so to extend your reach, to help more people, to turn up the the dial on your output and really 10x things. There's also things that AI can do that really do save you lots of time. So rather than umming and ahhing and having human decisions about things, you can just get the robot to do it for you. And of course, you can really cut down on a lot of menial tasks which are quite boring. And this is why it was created. Artificial intelligence is literally being brought in to try and replace the menial tasks, really boring things, and to use a technology to help us. So I've prepared a list of 5 basic functions that you can use AI for in your business and your guitar teaching studio. I've gone pretty broad for this one because it's something that people are just getting to the tip of the iceberg on, and you may have done all 5 of these things. You may not have tried any of them. But if you haven't used any artificial intelligence yet, if you haven't used ChatGPT, I highly recommend you download it. I highly recommend you involve yourself in it and try it out. There's some really amazing things. There's some really scary things, and it's only going to get better and better. And if you can sort of master the use of ChatGPT and artificial intelligence moving forward, that's going to do wonders for your business, your personal brand, for your teaching. Now, you can get lazy with it. You can get complacent with it. I'm going to encourage you to educate yourself about it. Watch a couple of YouTube videos on how to optimize the use of AI. Think outside the box. What am I doing right now that I don't like doing, or another person could do better? And is there a way I can delegate this to an artificial intelligence? If you ask the right questions, you'll get fantastic, powerful answers. I'm not advocating for replace 90% of what you do with artificial intelligence. There's a lot of learning that needs to take place, and there's a lot of bodgy answers that you'll get because the AI itself is being trained, it's learning. But once again, if you want to be an early adopter, get in quick and use it to amplify what you're doing. It's going to be absolutely fantastic for you. So 5 ways that you can use ChatGPT in your business. Now, the first one is writing difficult emails. Now, you can actually use ChatGPT to write any email, but how often have you had that email where you've got a pain in the bum client you've got to deal with and you're tiptoeing on eggshells? You kind of know they're in the wrong. They're being entitled. Once again, you want to be polite. You want to tell them what the rules are and how we run things, but you also don't want to use them as a client. So what you can actually do is say, hey, ChatGPT, please write me an email to so-and-so about this topic. Now, it could be updating your prices. Please write a nice, polite email about us updating our lesson prices. please write that we're reluctant to do so, but we have to do it because of inflation and rising costs of living and all those kind of things. And then rather than you spend an hour drafting the perfect email and umming and ahhing and hesitating on pressing send, ChatGPT is just going to write you a fantastic email, which is nice and polite and friendly. I mean, you can ask it to write you a really mean, nasty one, my way versus the highway approach, but it can actually contextualize things and articulate things, particularly if you're not very well with words or you don't articulate yourself well or you come across a bit gruff sometimes. This is where ChatGPT can communicate better than what you potentially can sometimes. The other day I had two students being naughty in class. They're really driving one of our teachers quite crazy and insane with just their bad behavior. I just said, well, I got a report from the teacher saying this is what's been going on. All I did was say, ChatGPT, please write me an email to be sent to the parents of these students explaining the situation, what's happened from the teacher's perspective, and I punched in my rules and how this doesn't align with our values and the action steps that are going to be taken. ChatGPT spat out an email. It was quite well. I drafted it, I changed it a few words, and sent that to the parents all within the space of 10 minutes. So what would normally take me 30, 40 minutes to write something which is nice and polite and political and doesn't hurt any feelings or tread on any toes, ChatGPT does it in 30 to 60 seconds. I edit it. I don't just send it straight away. I want to make sure I proofread it, but it takes a lot of the effort out of it. And then I've got that as a template for any future session as well. So any difficult emails you have to write, even other emails like reactivation email, I said, hey, ChatGPT, I need to write an email to my clients who haven't done a lesson in the last 12 months, who might be interested in getting back into it. Please write me a nice, polite, friendly letter that tells them that I miss them and we want to have them back, and away we go. ChatGPT spits something out in 1 minute. I go, maybe use this language instead of that language. It gives me another variation. And then I did a third revision, say, hey, I like this, but please change this language to sound a bit more Australian, less Americanized marketing strategy. And then it spat out something I was quite happy with, and I just tweaked a few things and I sent that one off. So again, every email that would normally take me 30, 60 minutes to write nice and politely, ChatGPT is going to do that in a very short period of time. So that's a very smart use of ChatGPT when it comes to emails. Now, the second thing you can get ChatGPT to do in your business is to create blog posts and articles. Now, I'm going to share a really, really important secret with you. A lot of people will use blogging and articles as a means of SEO to get ranked content to appear high on Google or as guest blog posts. And there are potential penalties if you're just asking ChatGPT to write you an article and you just copy paste that onto a website. Google's probably going to know, and they're probably not going to be happy with the outcome. So you need to be smart about it. If all you want to do is create blog posts and go, ChatGPT, please write me a blog post about the importance of learning scales or 3 ways to do a practice routine, you can generate decent articles for your students to read as supplementary lesson content, as things to read on your website. But the magic lies in the prompts. And this is where I'd be happy to do a whole other podcast, a whole nother interview, or even a short course on prompting. Because if you say, ChatGPT, write me an article on 3 reasons why you should practice at home, it's going to write you an article, but it's going to write everyone else the same article. If you say, ChatGPT, write me an article of 1,000 words on the importance of practicing at home, include practical examples and 3 downsides to not practicing, then you're going to get a much different article. Now, if you're going to say or add to the prompt something along the lines of, please write this in a friendly and informative tone, it's going to sound a certain way. Or if, please write this from the perspective of a university educated professional guitar teacher, you're going to get a very different article every single time. So the way that you ask ChatGPT to write articles can have dramatically different outcomes. So here's something I do. What I did, and I'm big on blogging, I'm big on SEO. You've probably read dozens of the articles that I've written for TopMusic, and there's a whole bunch on my personal guitar school blog, www.melbourneguitaracademy.com, or just .com, no .au on the end of that. But if you want to see some of my blogs and my posts, go check it out. But what I started doing was I fed ChatGPT my articles. I said, hey, I'm going to feed you 3 articles that I've written. I would like you to analyze these articles for the tone, for the language patterns, for how I talk. Essentially, analyze it and create a profile. Create user profile Michael Gumley. ChatGPT scans it. It acknowledges the fact that it's read it, it understands. And then I say, please write me an article about 3 reasons why I should practice at home. Make it 1,000 words long and write it using user profile Michael Gumley. I could not tell you that I didn't write that article. Picking up, reading it, I hear my own voice in my head, everything down to the pause, to the comma, how I speak, how I write was emulated by ChatGPT. If you want to write articles, get your favorite author from Guitar Hero, punch in 3 of their articles. What do we have? Who writes for Guitar World at the moment? I said Guitar Hero then. Guitar World magazine, Andy Eldord or whatever. You could put in 3 of his guest articles and then basically ask ChatGPT to analyze them and then say, now write me an article in the style of Andy Eldord from Guitar World. And all of a sudden it's going to spit you out a very different article. So that's a way to bypass Google's own algorithms just finding artificial intelligence AI generated content, because it's looking for particular things. But if you give it prompts, if you tell it to write in your writing style, that's not something that Google's going to be able to pick up on an algorithm. Now, it's going to be a game of cowboys and Indians or cops and robbers. Once the robbers get smart, the cops get smarter, then the robbers have to get smarter, and it's just this cycle of outdoing each other. That's going to keep on going till the end of time. But that's one little way around it. Now, I don't just get ChatGPT to write me articles. What I do is I write anywhere between 500 and 1,000 words, and I ask ChatGPT to add stuff to it if needed. I don't just generate articles because I'm very conscious of I do want to rank highly on Google and I don't want to get penalized. So my blog does not have any posts that are 100% AI generated. It's enhanced by AI. I recommend that you do the same. Don't just get it to write articles again from the perspective of you wanting to rank highly on Google. Don't just spam it and release 30 articles that you've written in 3 days using ChatGPT. They're gonna know. If you go from writing 1 article every 6 months to 30 in 3 days, they're gonna know. But you can get away around it or make it part of a more consistent output by having ChatGPT do a lot of the hard work for you, or even just saying, hey, I want to write 10 blog posts, please suggest 10 trending topics for guitar. Or guitar teachers musical education, and ChatGPT is going to give you some prompts, which is really, really handy. But that brings us to our third use for ChatGPT in your business, and that could be creating lesson plans. Now, you might have a student come to you and say they want to learn how to play jazz guitar. So you can go, ChatGPT, please write me a 10-lesson plan for learning guitar. And that's going to give you a couple of different options. You could, again, the magic is in the prompts here, go, ChatGPT, please give me a 10-lesson plan for a beginner wanting to start learning jazz guitar for the first time. And of course, you are going to get a very different outcome. Now, you could also, if you've got pre-existing lesson plans, go, here's a lesson plan I made for beginner guitar players, rock players, jazz players, blues players. You can train the AI to go to take your lesson plans and to say, I've got a brand new student, they like rock and roll, they want to learn lead guitar playing. Please create them a custom lesson plan from all the previous plans I've created. And particularly if you're like me, you've got Guitar Ninjas, a database of over 1,000 videos and 50 courses, a custom plan to navigate that portal based on the user's own goals and what they want to get out of it. You can just punch that into ChatGPT. That is going to spit out the plan. That's going to save you tons of time doing some work like that. Or you can just keep on refining it. Please come up with a beginner jazz guitar plan, then an intermediate, then an advanced. And each step of the way, you're going to be coming up with additional things that they can use and work on there. Now, yes, you do really need to proofread this concept because what ChatGPT spits out is going to be really general. It's going to be trained on some, mainstream publications for lesson plans, your basic Hal Leonard methods. So there's going to be a lot missing, and a lot of it which might be good academic advice, but not really great streetwise, street smart, practical guitar advice there. So you just have to be mindful. Anything you ask ChatGPT to do, you're going to have to read over it. And again, to the layperson, it might look like a good plan, but to you as an experienced musical educator who knows better, it might be very generic or very lacking. So it might save you time, but you probably have to review it or at least take that format and adapt it to your own methods there. Now, the fourth use for ChatGPT in your business is writing copy for your website. Now, building a website is one of the most crucial things that you can do for your website. If you're a professional guitar teacher, but you don't have a website, then you're probably not a professional guitar teacher. One of the first steps to becoming a professional and working for yourself is having your own website. The idea of doing that is really, really daunting. So to overcome that, you can literally ask ChatGPT to come up with a format for a website and write the copy for it. And it's going to spit out some examples of what you should write and what you should put in certain places. It's going to help you bypass having to do any sort of research on writing copy, creating websites, what to write, what to list. All that kind of stuff is going to be included by ChatGPT. Now, again, is it going to be great or outstanding? Yeah, it's going to be okay. It's not going to be terrible content, and it's getting better and better every time. It's quite amazing what ChatGPT will spit out, but once again, it can tell two different people the exact same thing, and Google's not going to be happy with that. It'll think that there is duplicate content. So once again, the magic is in the prompting. You need to tell it to make unique content or make a website that advertises my guitar lessons for people wanting to learn rock music and their favorite bands, AC/DC, Bon Jovi, Queen. You're going to get a very different outcome to just make me the copy or the text for a website. It's going to be a very, very different outcome for that there. If you do want tips on building a website, hit up my 6-figure program, www.sixfigureguitarteacher.com. I give you the exact blueprint you need for building a website, and there's some stuff like that in our business blueprint course here at Top Music as well. Now, the last point that we're going to talk about is creating a social media content strategy. Social media is something, whether you do it or not, can be quite overwhelming as well. The idea of having to log on every single day and create a post and share that, it can be a lot of work. But if you just go, ChatGPT, please write me 30 tweets about teaching guitar or guitar lessons or something related, ChatGPT is going to generate you 30 informative tweets. Again, the prompt you give it, please make it informative. Make it for beginner guitar players, make it for advanced players, make it for songwriters. If you ask ChatGPT to come up with 30 tweets, all of a sudden you've got a month's worth of content. You can just plug them into a program like Later and just schedule them all. It might take you 45 minutes to do it, but that's your social media done for Twitter for the entire month. You could ask it to prompt you some things on Facebook. Hey, ChatGPT, please come up with 7 Facebook posts and a content strategy. I would do that the other way around and say, please come up with a 7-day content strategy for Facebook for my music school or my guitar lessons, and then come up with an individual post for every single day. And straight away, it's going to start generating stuff. Then you can add to it, see how it goes, revise it. But that's something which people procrastinate on. They don't know what to do. They've got absolutely no idea. Just asking ChatGPT to generate you a plan for 7 days or 15 days or 30 days is going to give you a framework to work with. And then once you've generated the plan, you can dive a little deeper and ask it to generate the content. Now, again, you want to use proper keywords and prompts to make it relevant to you, your business, what you do and your audience, but it's going to be amazingly powerful. So guys, they are just 5 of the tips that I recommend that you can use ChatGPT in your business if you're not already doing it. And of course, if you are using it in a way that I haven't mentioned, you've got some great ideas that you'd love to share, please post it in the comments section or hit me up on Facebook or jump on the Top Music forum and share what you would like. So if you have enjoyed this one and you'd like more of it, please hit me up, michael@topmusic.co, or on social media, just send me a private message or a message on our Facebook group so that I know to keep doing more stuff if you found it helpful. And if you've got any of your own ideas that you think I should talk about in the next show, please share them with the other guitar teachers around the world. Thanks once again, guys. Have a great week, and we'll see you in the next edition of our podcast.